What's up, everybody? Corey Van Castle Cook here, also known as the Bearded Cinephile, and I'm going to give my reaction now to the film The Zone of Interest, which I saw this week. It's one of the 10 nominated Oscar films. I've now, with watching Nyad the other night, I've completed every single Oscar film to watch in the six major categories. But I want to talk about this film for a moment. It's a film directed by Jonathan Glazer, and it's not only up for the best Picture Oscar, but it's also up for Best International Feature because, interestingly enough, it's a submission from the United Kingdom, but it was all filmed in German with English subtitles. And for those of you who don't know the story, it's basically involves the family of Rudolf Hess. Rudolf Hess was the commandant at Auschwitz concentration camp during World War II. It also stars Sandra Huller, who is his wife Hedwig. She's also in Anatomy of a Fall, which she has been nominated for Best Actress. And if you haven't seen that film yet, I highly recommend that one. That is fantastic. So this film, it's interesting. I feel like it's an important film. In fact, I know it's an important film because it's really a film depicting how the absolute human atrocities and horror can go on in our own back door while we're surrounded by beauty and a normal everyday life. And I think with what's going on right now in Israel, Palestine, I think it's a very relevant film when it comes to that situation. And I really appreciated what Jonathan Glazer was doing as a director and trying to hit that point across, that all these horrible things are happening just right next door, and this house that they live in, the Hesses, is immaculate and beautiful, and there's all these great gardens and all this joy and bright colors and things that are happening. And yet all the meanwhile throughout the film is peppered with the smokestacks of the ashes of people that have been brutally murdered. You hear gun blasts in the background. You hear screams and moans and wails. And it's you just think to yourself, how the fuck could these people just ignore the atrocities that are going on? And Hedwig's own mom comes and she can't, so that's an interesting part. But it's horrific, and the way that it's shot, I really gotta say shout out to Lucas Zoll. Every shot is basically at a distance. There's a lot of long shots. There's not a lot of two shots. There's not a lot of close-ups really at all. And I think it's the whole point to reinforce the idea how we distance ourselves from tragedy, how we distance ourselves from the horrors that are going on in our world and don't try to get involved. And it's framed in that specific manner. It's for a reason. And the way this film ends is pretty interesting too, in terms of trying to parallel what's going on back then with also a reference to the Auschwitz, I believe the Auschwitz Museum or area that happens that's just standing there now. There's not much to see anymore. I've never had a chance to go out there. So some really good performances again from Sandra Huller, who is fantastic. And a good performance by Christian Friedel, who plays Rudolf Hess. I will say this. I didn't really connect with the family a lot, and I think maybe that was by design, but to maybe keep us at a distance, the audience at a distance. The thing is that I found this movie wasn't as engaging as I thought it was going to be. It's an important film, like I said, but it didn't quite captivate me the way I thought it was going to. It's one of those, I really like it, and I think it'll be studied in film schools, and I think it'll be, relegated to being an important film in cinema history. It just didn't always 100% work for me. I felt that there was other Oscar films that very much did, but I think it's an important film. I keep saying that over, and I think it's a film that a lot of people should watch, especially in this day and age when we see all the atrocities that are just going on in the world, period. So I would recommend it from that fact alone. If you're gonna nail me down to a score, I'd probably say it's somewhere between a 6 and a 7 for me, probably leaning towards a 7. But I think it's a film at the end of the day that I appreciate more than I necessarily like. But I wouldn't let that dissuade you from watching this, even if it is heavy subject matter, and it is in subtitles, which I've never had a problem with, and you shouldn't either. But anyway, that's my thoughts on The Zone of Interest, and that's it for now. Once again, I'm Corey Van Castle Cook, also known as the Bearded Cinephile and one half of Movie Chumps, and I'll see everybody next time.